The point is, I didn't run because of the polls. I think what you're going to see is the combination of what I did in the beginning in terms of the Recovery Act, and then this legislation, as well as the legislation that we're about to pass, God willing, on what's called Build Back Better, everything from child care to funding 3 and 4-year-olds in school, et cetera. I think all that's going to have a significant impact on ordinary Americans.
So that was Joe Biden being asked about the fact that his approval rating has been going down. Bad poll results, like for instance, 58% of Americans say Joe Biden hasn't paid enough attention to the nation's most important problems, which seems bad. More than a third call the economy the most important thing. Among those group, 72% say he hasn't been attentive, which is bad. And you can try to brush that off saying you didn't run based on the polls. I don't even know what that means. Like in practice, yeah, everybody says that, doesn't mean anything. And sure, God willing, BBB will pass. We didn't elect God, actually. I think we voted for you. We gave you the power to do this. And so he can see, Nina, that his numbers are going down. It's not difficult to know why. It's in the polls. It's not difficult to imagine what might turn this around. The question is going to be, does he care to? Does he have the ability to?
Yeah, the intestinal fortitude, and God willing, God is willing. The question becomes, are politicians willing? Because I would be willing to bet, certainly the God that I serve believes in uplifting and supporting the poor, the working poor and the barely middle class. And those programs in the reconciliation portion of this bill, B to the third power portion of this bill, is what most everyday Americans actually support. They support having Medicare negotiate for lower drug prices. I think that's at about 88%. They support making sure that people get paid family leave. Absolutely support it. They support having funding for 2-year colleges, which they took out. That's not happening. So the people are on the side of the progressive agenda, and the progressive agenda is really about lifting humanity. And I would be willing to bet that God is in total support of that. So God is aligned. Politicians, are you aligned? Are you ready to do the right thing?
100%, yeah. Yeah, and I hope that he is. If he is, it really should not be difficult for him to figure out what he should do, but I'm willing to help. I think we could point him in the right direction. When your numbers are going down, you got to figure out something to do. Like, it's been tough for a lot of people, not just Joe Biden, like the news business. Numbers have been down in 2021. Some responded to that by pushing ivermectin in their content or whatever. I have a more moral way that you can get your numbers back up. Let's jump ahead to the polling. What if there were wildly popular policies that you could champion? For instance, lowering Medicare prescription drug prices, 88% support, 12% oppose. A slam dunk, a home run, put in whatever sports analogy you want. Think about it. If you got that done, wouldn't people like that? What about Medicare coverage for dental, eye, and hearing? 84% support, 16% oppose. Paid family and medical leave, more than 70%. Universal pre-K for kids, nearly 70%. The people are not, they're not like being coy, like maybe I want something, maybe I don't, maybe I'll tell you, maybe not. No, they're being very clear, Nina, about what they want, and we're not getting it.
That's it. How about that? That's the roadmap. And all of these politicians are going to have to reckon, certainly from my faith, with there's going to be a day of reckoning. It might not happen today or tomorrow, but eventually we all will have a day of reckoning with the Creator. It is, why do you go into public service when you are not willing to totally put it all out there on the line in service to the people who have the greatest needs? The American people have spoken. And John, you just laid it out. And this political affiliation, be damned, the American people have spoken, and they want these kind of programs. And while we're patting these politicians on the back, number one, it is our money. Let me remind it. These are our tax dollars. We got to have a social contract with one another. So whether it's BIF, which is the bipartisan infrastructure, or whether it's B to the third power, it is our money. It is our social contract with one another to have these types of services. And two, what you just laid out, John, you don't even take a lot of courage to do these things because the American people are on your side.
100%. Yeah. And it's not good enough to just be like, well, yeah, I want this stuff, but Sinema and Manchin don't want it. Then you have to fight. You have to show that you're trying. Or you could give, you get the whole media together. I'm gonna do a primetime address, 1 hour, and I'm gonna talk about how people have generation after generation has been crushed by student loan debt, and that is why I'm canceling $50,000. You could do that. Cinema can whine about it. It's not gonna stop it from happening.
That's right. And we in a pandemic, John. Let me get that out there too.
Yeah.
There's nothing extraordinary about this stuff in the face of a pandemic. It's what we're supposed to be doing given the weight of the moment.
Exactly.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.